Good morning. It is Sunday, time for Coffee Talk, where we talk about tanks. What went down the last week. I got my coffee. Nice French roast today. It's really good. That's not true. It's not really good. It's acceptable. But I have a lot of it. I need to go into all the various coffees I drink and what an expert coffee drinker I am, and then just because I'd have to make all that up. That's, it's just a Keurig and a box of 100 of Sam's best coffee Keurig cups. But it's okay because we're on a tangent already. And as you know, I always put my hazelnut sweetener in there. I think really all I'm having is slightly coffee flavored hazelnut sweetener, but that's fine because that's what I like. And if that's what you like, if you want to put milk and sugar and lots of it in your tea, then go ahead because that's what I do. All right. Oh man, where were we? Well, we're trying to get started. Coffee Talk. Busy week. Busy week. We'll do channel news, we'll do missions and specials. We'll talk about the subjects du jour. Man, we have a lot of stuff. We'll go over how to submit because I've had that question multiple times. I'll show you how you can submit a replay to me for use on the channel there. I'm going to get a new intro. I'm working with a guy, or we'll talk about that in just a minute. And he's got a pretty cool video / film, World of Tanks film I want you guys to check out and go look at his page. Shout out to him. We'll do that in just a moment. Missions and specials, more codes, hooray. Discount madness coming up for tier 10s all month. So you're going to get some discounts on tier 10s. And we'll talk a little bit about Tiger 2 Care Package Echo. We covered it last week, but I think there's still some people who aren't sure what's going on. I've got a couple other details on that one. Subjects du jour. World of Tanks rating. This is in your Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about that a little bit because Wargaming's pushing that number again just a little bit as we are kind of post Win 8, and I think Wargaming's trying to fill that space with some of their rating systems, as they should. And I'll have a few words about that. We had a couple new maps coming up, and then we have had a bit of controversy at the beginning of the week, and it died down real quick. We're going to go over it anyway because it was kind of interesting to me because it is the industry behind the industry kind of idea. Dealing with one of the big streamers, Skill 42U, over on the EU. So I thought it was how it went down was interesting. The good news is it's pretty much blown over, I think. But we'll talk about a little bit of that as we go. So let's get started with channel news. All right, channel news. I did not get to my streaming on Thursday. I had a change of mission. The house general had something else for me to do. So if you're old and married like me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we took care of that. No worries. I think this coming Friday, next day off, or perhaps the next Monday, not tomorrow Monday, but the Monday after. So if I get any pop-up capability in there, then I will, of course, just turn on the stream as usual. But that is the planned event right now. Remember my invite code, Guido Grind, Guido, Grind. That is going to give you a RAM 2, 3 days of premium, 800 gold, and some reserves. A nice weekend to learn the game or to re-roll or just have a second account, whatever it is you would like to do. What we're going to do now is how to submit. So we're going to do a quick little how to submit. First thing you need to do, and the reason is because people have been asking, hey, how do I submit? All right, good question. And there's a lot of different skill levels. So I hit escape to get to the settings. I go to settings. I scroll down on the general tab to the bottom left down here, and you have battle recording, enable battle recording. I happen to have all of them because I do a lot of replay stuff and I want to be able to dig back and get some of those. I have a system whereby if I have a good game, I go right in there and I get it out and put it in a different folder so it's saved, and I'll tell you why that's important in just a minute. But you can do none, in which case you will not be sending me any replays. You can do last, and that will be the very last replay, or you can do all, and there you go. They're small files, so they're not going to take up a whole lot of room, and you can go in there and delete it. Unfortunately, there's not a way here to tell them in 30 days to delete it. You're going to have to do that yourself, but I have all set up. All right. So we're going to come out of there, go back to the game. Next thing you need to know is where are those files? Well, that's a great question. Where are those files? Well, let's find out. We're going to go over to the second monitor here as I very carefully figure out where this is, and recording, nope, and replays. All right, like I've said before, a professional would have this all sorted out. Too bad for you, that is not me. Second monitor, check it out. Here we go. All right, so we come over here and we've got local disk, whatever disk your game is on. Mine happens to be on C. Games, that's where it put it. You may have put it somewhere else. If you're clever enough to put your games where you want them, on different drives, different folders, then you probably know where your game is. Which means once you do that, find World of Tanks, then replays, and in replays will be your replays. Imagine that, sorted by time, chronologically. This is down here, as soon as I get there, the last one I did, right there. If you have only one battle going, it says last replay, and that's probably all you're going to have right there is last replay if you selected last battle. Otherwise, you have all of these. The reason I have a folder system is because that's a lot. And if you go 5, 6, 10, 20 battles past the one you thought you were going to use and you forget, it takes a while of digging around. I call it good ones. Imagine that. And I go into good ones, and then I've got all of my different kinds of things that I have saved, and then I've got some different classifications. I just did my Tiger 2C review. That's where I put all my Tiger 2C. There's my Miserable Monday folder, my Summer Camp folder. If I end up using that, my Tiger 1 folder, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So that is how you go get the files. Next thing you're going to do, all right, next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to wattreplays.eu. Wattreplays.eu. This is a World of Tanks site, and you will log in if you're not logged in. If you're logged in already on the browser or the game landing page, then it will just be pretty much automatic. Otherwise, you may have to put in your name and your password again. Once you do that, you're in, and you go to Upload Replay. Once you click Upload Replay, you go to Choose File. Once you click Choose File, then it will come up with something like a DAT. And we come over here, and I've got to go to C. I've got to go to Games. Remember where they were? That's where you're going. World of Tanks, Replays. I'm going to go Good Ones, and I will grab an Ace Tanker I had. Where is it? There it is. And click Open, which I'm not showing you all that. But anyway, there it is. So it has showed up. You can put a title in. So I'll just put Ace Tanker. Or File for Guido, or whatever it is you want to call it. A lot of people will put those in for everyone else as well and just send me the link, which is what we'll get to in just a minute. You can put a description into it as well. Some people will do that to kind of let me know what's going on with that. And then Upload Replay. You can disable comments or make available by direct link only. I leave that unclicked, and we'll click Upload Replay. And that should take a little bit of time. We'll have a drink of coffee while that goes on. And there it is. Shows you where it is, right? There you go. Humble brag, Ace Tanker in the 257. Now, this is the link up here, so I can just click on that and copy it. I can right click, or I can go Control C. Those are two ways to do it. Take that link, put it in either an in-game message or a forum message, or to my guido@1212gaming.com email, and send me that link, and it will take me to that point. I'll click on Download Replay. Voila, I now have your replay. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. That's how you do it. The last thing for channel news is a little shout out to Fingolfin Films, who just made this World of Tanks movie. I'm going to show you about the first minute or so just to give you a taste of it here as it goes. He's going to help me make an intro, so good on him. Just getting started. Go to his page, give him a subscribe. I'll put the link down below in the description for this, but check this out. pretty cool, huh? I like the camera work, the smoothness of it, the cinematic feel. Pretty cool. All done in the game, which is good. He's got some other videos on there which are kind of funny. Some funny ones, some interesting ones. So give him a shout out. He's a college student just getting started. So head over to that page and give him a first things first. Don't forget your bloody codes. We're still into this code stuff. This Phoenix IP or Phoenix XP weekend actually had a code. There it is. So click redeem code. It'll take you to that. I've already done it. I didn't do it until this morning. I didn't realize that was a thing today. Actually, I have 2 coupons. I must have picked one up out of that as well. So what we are going to do, though, is take a look at the specials, see what's on sale in the old premium shop. It's time to shill. Get your wallets out, fellas. Here we go. T44-100. That's pretty good tier 8. Not bad. Eagle 7's a good tier 7 medium. Both of those are good tanks. The Ram 2, you can get that for free on a new account with Guido Grind. Well, not a whole bunch else. This is actually a good tank. And it's minus 40% for me on it, some kind of coupon. Unknown if you have that same coupon. That is a really good light tank. Prototype is still running around out there at 4068. And the Sturv S1. So not a whole lot going on there. You can get gold. Yeah, a couple discounts on small amounts. No big deal there. Let's see if the premium account has anything special going on. I'd be surprised if anybody had run out of their Christmas premium, but it might be getting close halfway through the year, depending on how many boxes you bought or things that you bought during Christmas. Look, this is discounted, so I do have a bit of a discount. Whatever that coupon is allowing. See that little symbol right there, the coupon symbol? So I'm able to use that for this amount, and it's brought it down just a little bit, so that's nice. Come over to the vehicles, and a lot of the same. We've got the Eagle 7, the 44-100, the Ram 2, there's the 1357 again, the S1, and then the standard. So really not a whole bunch on specials going on. And it looks like about the same thing here. So nothing really to add. The Lorraine is on sale. That's also a good tier 8. The other thing to remember that is going on here that I mentioned earlier is tier 10s are going to be discounted, and there's a schedule, which is nice, so you know what it is. We go over here to tier 10 Madness. Perhaps I can find it. There we go. Tier 10 Discount Madness. Look at this, a nice schedule for the days. Obviously, they're all 10% off. And which tank. So if there's a tier 10 that you have just unlocked or you've been waiting to buy, then you're going to get a nice little 10% discount on it. That's not a whole lot. Remember, this is a silver discount, but it's better than nothing, right? Better than nothing, so you can go ahead and grab that tier 10 you've been wanting. I didn't look. I didn't count them up, but my assumption is they're all there. I'm pretty sure all the tier 10s are going to be discounted. Actually, that's maybe not true. Are there Artie? Oh, no. Did Artie get kicked in the nuts again? I think they did. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Yep. Oh, wow. Sorry, Artie dudes. The hits just keep coming. Look, I don't support that. I really don't. I don't like the mechanic. I've said it a million times. But the way it's being handled now is becoming a bit of a meme. I mean, it really is. No discount for you. No missions for you. No. When's the last time an Artie had an on-track? Oh, jeez. This is... Am I missing it? I could have missed it, but I don't see him in there. I do not see an Artie in there. That's incredible. Wow. Wargaming. I mean, you just... One of the big reasons it's still in the game is there's so many people that play it. And that's true, and that's a thing, right? That's important. And you just keep poking those dudes in the eye, man, without actually fixing the problem. And nobody's... I've talked about this in the past. The way they're doing it, it ensures nobody's happy. I mean, it was better to go one way or the other and just have one half of your player base unhappy. Now, I don't know if it's really split half and half, Artie, not Artie. I think most people sit in the between somewhere, which means most people just kind of want it to be as good as it can be. And right now, it's just... I don't know, it's weird. It's been abandoned, but it's been abandoned in a bad state. That's incredible. It feels like they're trying to kill it without anyone recognizing it, right? It's the old frog in the boiling water. They just keep turning up the temperature as if the frog won't notice. But it's us and not frogs, and we're noticing the water's getting hotter. You know, it's not working, dudes. All right, that was the random tangent number 1 or 2 or whatever it was. Mm, unbelievable. Okay, now back to the Tiger 2 captured. A couple things to remember with that. What I didn't talk about when I did my review is you get a really good crew member. The commander has 3 or 4 skills. It's not a great skill setup. I think I've talked about it on stream before, but I used gold and reset it. It worked out just fine. So that's the number 1 thing. Number 2 thing is people are finding, because what you've got to do is you've got to link your World of Tanks account to the Twitch Prime account that you have. And it shows you how to do that when you go over and you try to grab the care package, and it steps you through it. But what people have found is if they were already linked from last month, they've had to redo it. Some people have linked it the first time and they just don't get the tank. If the tank doesn't show up in your account, delink it and then relink it back up and go through the process again. People have had success with getting it to work. My understanding is there have been a lot of tickets going into Wargaming, and Wargaming hasn't been really helpful with the tickets because it should be an automated, fairly easy process. But there's some kind of goofiness there. I don't know what it is. Whether it's cookie, there's so many things. I don't know, cookies, settings, God knows what. Just make sure, or not make sure, but if you don't get the tank, just try to redo the process and it should show up. Most people I've heard have had success with that. All right. So I think that brings us to subjects. Oh no, missions. We got to go check out the missions. So first things first, the marathon for the RBFM is done. You should have your RBFM. The good news is it's still going on today. So you actually, I don't know if it's still going on today, to be honest. You're getting the bonuses. Let's put it that way. They did say the bonuses would go for 2 days after the event, so that's happening. Whether you can still do the missions today, I don't know, because I already finished mine. So I think you're supposed to be able to do them today and get your RBFM. Remember, you could do them all in one day if you needed to. Missing a day didn't hurt you because it just waited for you. It was just the unlock of the missions as you went. I ended up unlocking mine, no problem. We'll go here into the missions and show you all that good stuff on D-Day. And I'm finished. I've gone through day 14, and I got the skin, the Sirocco skin, added on. That was good. I'm glad I did that because I didn't actually get the Sirocco skin when Wargaming gave it to me to do content. They didn't add the skin, so I actually went through the whole process and got the skin. Interestingly, I did not get any gold for the tank. I talked about that earlier. I wondered if, because they had already credited it to me, if once I got the tank again, it would add a little gold, but it didn't. And that's fine. I don't need that. They gave that to me. In the case where it was free, then good. So there you go. In the case where you buy it and then get another one, in the past it's been giving you gold. Although that's starting to change just a little bit. But we won't get into that. Go over to missions. Player tank class right is going on. Make sure you put the codes in for that. If you haven't already, you probably have. It's 9 days into June, so more than likely you figured that out. TankerRewards.com is still going on. Actually, I did want to show you guys this. So let me set this thing up. TankerRewards.com, and we come over to, where's that bad boy? Tank Rewards, there we go. And over to the second monitor, more unprofessionalism from Guido. Here's the page. Remember, it's TankRewards.com, and you track it on your UI here. And then you come over here and tier 1 redeemed, which, well done. All right, I had enough points. You can't tell here anymore. You have to go down to the next one. But I have 380 out of 750. I'm actually behind the power curve. I'm not going to get probably all my tank rewards stuff done. The issue for me is you're playing multiple different tiers, and I'm just not chasing missions as much like that anymore. But it's not hard. It's not hard. I think I will easily get just goofing around to this one, which is an extra garage slot. And I think that's great, especially for free-to-play players. Anytime you can grab a garage slot, that really helps out to expand your garage and help you not spend money if that's what you want to do. And then the blueprints pack, I've unlocked everything, so whether or not I want to get there or not is not a big deal. I might do it just to get some of the national blueprints, but this is a nice chunk right here, and it's going to help you unlock something either in the US, SR, German, or USA tech trees. So I think most everyone can get to 950. Now, whether you get up to 1300 and get a free tank, you really have to be serious about doing it, but it can be done pretty easily, to be quite honest, with just basic playing. Just remember, you got to chase the tiers, right? You got to get to the right tiers. Okay, chase, not the crying tears, not those tears. That's right. Play arty, chase the tiers. There you go. Tankrewards.com. So those are the missions. FODAT. Echo, this is for the King Tiger Sea. Remember we talked about it last week. I really haven't played it much. I played it 20 battles, did the review, and kind of set it down. I'm doing some other things. Again, the experience is combat experience that stacks on top of a premium. So I talked about it last week. That's just silly. M4 54 is on track. Remember we had 2 on tracks going on last month, so now we're down to 1 again because they had a mistake with the WZ 132-1. This is a pretty good line, actually. It's not bad. I enjoyed it. A little bit power creeped at this point, but interesting. Not a lot of people play these tanks. So there you go. You can go up to the tier 10 heavy that has armor. Remember, it's not the auto loader line, it's the other line. Other missions. This is the XP weekend. That's where it's hiding once you put that code in I talked about. 1.5 XP if you're amongst the top 7. That's going to stack with your premium and everything else, so it's a great way. It's a good grinding weekend because as long as you're in the top 7, you're going to get 1.5. So you get the times 2. I think it stacks with the times 2. Don't quote me. But after that, when your times 2 goes away, you're going to get 1.5 if you're in the top 7. And that's a pretty good deal for grinding right there. And then the premium missions are the standard things. That's pretty much it. Not a whole bunch going on. It's interesting because there's a lot going on, but not anything real big and specific. There's a lot of little things going on all at once. And, this brings me into another tangent because I was thinking about it as I was looking at all this stuff. That in the past, there were a couple specific things going on, and I was able to chase those down. But now there's so many small things going on, and I'm wondering now if this is kind of a conscious decision on Wargaming's part to expand the aperture and make not so many big things, but a lot of small things. And it's become difficult unless you're really paying attention and jumping from item to item specifically to knock them all out in 1 week or 1 month. So I think that's just something I'm starting to feel about the game. I don't know how I feel about it overall, though. I guess it's fine. It does make me feel like it's a little more scattered and less cohesive because there's so many things going on at once. But that's just an initial feeling, and maybe that doesn't matter. It may actually appeal to a lot of players because they can just go to the one thing that they like. They're not stovepiped into the 2 things that are going on. I know that's very vague, but it was an initial feeling I had as I was thinking about all the different events and on tracks and all the stuff that's going on all at one time in the last couple months. Anywho, that's about that. Let's move on to subjects du jour. Subjects du jour, which of course means subjects of the jour. That is a really bad attempt at a dad joke, but I got more. I think. Look, subjects du jour. Here we go. Where is it? Stats at your fingertips. Remember we talk a little bit about the Hawk 12 and how Wargaming's trying to add some kind of stat things going on. And I thought it was interesting. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, but they are talking about for the next patch coming up with the session stats, which I think probably the most famous one is the Yazin Krasen. I think that's what it is. Probably pronouncing it incorrect, like du jour. As a side note, there's a pretty funny video of Parisians trying to pronounce English words. It was pretty excellent, man. It was pretty excellent. They really had a hard time with some of them. They did cabbage and lettuce. Le truffe. Look it up on YouTube. Parisians pronouncing English words. Most of us go to a lot of the same social media stuff. I bet there's a bunch of you have already seen it. It's probably It's probably come up on your feed, maybe Facebook or on Reddit. If you do Reddit at all, I bet you've seen it. It's pretty funny. Where were we? We're talking about stats at your fingertips. Your game stats at your fingertips. So, looks like Wargaming is attempting to get into that. Good Lord, how long has that taken? Seriously. Time for a mini rant, right? Mini rant. Mini rant. Off track, whatever the word is I'm looking for. Why has it taken them that long? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they could have taken a majority of the garage mods, this being one of them, stat mods and some of the other things, incorporated them into the game immediately and solved a lot of their problems as far as the UI goes. I will never, ever, ever, ever understand their reticence. Is that the right word? I think it is reticence. Their unwillingness. All right, there's a word I understand the meaning of better. Their unwillingness to take a lot of these garage and UI mods and incorporate them in the game. I'm at a loss for words, to be quite honest. I don't know if it's arrogance or stupidity or game design direction or it's amazing. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. Just one example is the carousel, which I've mentioned multiple times, but it serves to make the point very well. There was a mod that had 4. They ignored the carousel mod forever. People were screaming for a carousel mod. It was one of the most popular mods in the entire game. They wanted it. How hard can it be? They finally said they're going to do it. Finally said they were going to do it. And everyone's like, fantastic. And what'd they do? They gave us 2 rows. Not a choice of 1, 2, 3, or 4. 2. And that's it. You can have 2 or 1. Sorry, guys. That's all you get. Now, there's a resolution, a screen size, a computer capability thing. There's other things to go with coding this and making it work in your game. Noted. Your audience has your major audience has worse computers on average. Noted. There is no reason you couldn't have 3. 0 reason. 4, even 4. And 4 is the most you want to go because once they start getting really small icons and it stacks up the screen. I got it. It But how about you put 4 in, and then if it looks garbage on your screen, then you don't select it? I don't know. Maybe the player could actually make that decision. This is really getting off track, but it's the same thing with this. Why? I would love to talk to someone, a designer, developer, and ask them why exactly it was that they have refused to put in so many of the great mods. When really, what I'm talking about is the in-garage stuff, which is just creature comfort, that everybody downloads and uses. I mean, it's free testing. Now, what I don't know is if there's some kind of legality about grabbing other people's code. I mean, it's a mod on your engine, your game anyway, so I assume you can do whatever you want. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on there that's a little bit beyond my knowledge level, but that sounds like a hurdle, not a roadblock. You know what I'm saying? Okay, back to this. Hall of Fame and WTR rating. So you're going to get some session stats, which is pretty cool. Now this is what kind of piqued my interest. Note. I always like the things that are at boxes around them with red letters and bold because there's always something fun going to happen on these. All right. In 2017, good Lord, no kidding, not long ago, a new rating system, the World of Tanks rating, WTR. I had no idea that's what that was. That I'll show you where that is. And I've seen the number and I sort of understood the significance of it-ish, but I didn't even know it was called WTR. Calculates an individual rating for each tank. Okay, that's in the Hall of Fame. That's that number that you get. It's like a PR for your tank. And these vehicle-specific scores are then used to assess a player's overall performance. Are they? By who? if you're going to claim they're used to assess, I don't know who uses them. But anyway, we'll let that pass. This rating responds flexibly to changes of combat strategy as it evaluates your stats against average indicators across the server. What that means is that you can do your last day, your last month, your last 3 months. So if you have a rating on a tank from 5 years ago, then that may be different to what you can do in it today, right? So that's the response flexibly. That everyone's numbers change as you go through. Some tank becomes meta, then it falls off, then it's buffed, then it's nerfed, all that kind of stuff. So, okay, noted. That goes back to the rating systems, though, that really, what's the most important rating in time, as a time reference, whatever you use, whether it's PR, Win 8, individual tank, WTR, whatever, what's the most important one to your gameplay? It's probably the recent one, right? What are you doing now? Now, your body of work, for me, I'm at 58% overall my entire career. That's fine. But what am I really doing recently? And you kind of have to dig through that and see what your recent performance is to understand what your capability is at that time. I'm not unveiling some hidden truth. That's just the way it is. So yeah, it does respond to that. So after you select a tank, it ranks your performance indicators according to their relevance for the particular vehicle. So I'm not going to go through the rest of the ratings. That's pretty cool. What we are going to do is we're going to dive into it here. Get rid of the second monitor. And you can see I have the Hawk 12 called up because I've been playing that quite a bit, attempting to market. My win rate's actually come up on it. I've done pretty well in the last day or so, 2 days, and I'm at 84.76. So hopefully today, if I played a couple times, maybe even once, if I do well enough, I will get the second mark on it. However, if we go to service record, let's do that. Oops. Hall of Fame, there we go. Service record, Hall of Fame. You can go by vehicles or by achievements. This is just overall, but we're going to go to vehicles. And this is where I think this is 10 vehicles that you've played the most, basically. And it's kind of a bummer because I wish this was just a list of all the vehicles you had played. The order of it doesn't seem to give any, actually it's how many you've played, right? So you need 30 for this ranking to be official, I guess, for that month. You can see that battles left to enter the rating 28. Nowhere does it say you've played 2, but that's what it means because 30 is the number. I just know that. As always with this, it's really goofy. But if you go over here, oh boy, did I do it? I did it. I clicked on it. We're going to go back anyway. Go over here. I'm in the top 10. So I have played 30 or more battles in my Hawk in June. 30 plus battles. You can change. Actually, let's not go to session. For whatever reason, it's this one. I don't even know what that symbol is. It's like it's a funnel. I don't know. You can select what you want it to record. So for June of 2019, or I can go all the way since December 2014. This is kind of when they started it back in here. So for June of 2019, with 30 or more battles, I am number 5 on the server in the Hawk 12 with a 5,512 WTR World of Tanks rating. And it's got some rating, some movement, position movement, and things like that. If I click on it, which I did just a moment ago, you can see that here's Guido 1212 on number 5 with 5,512, 64% win rate. This is it damage? Rating by average damage. So average damage at 12, average experience. This should be number of vehicles destroyed, and then assist, 950, I believe. Yes, so assist at 950. It's a little symbol, you got to hover. It's not ideal, right? It's not set up great, but okay, they're giving it a try. You can search players, you can search vehicles, because if you want to know a vehicle other than the top 10, say you've played 15, 20 battles in 10 vehicles, and you've played 5 or 10 in others, you're not even going to see them on that initial list. You're going to have to search for them. It's a bit clunky as far as that goes. I wish you could just pull it up and it would show all the tanks you've played that month, or for whatever period. Now, there's a lot of data on their servers, and doing a lot of queries like this does take some time for their server to do it. So I don't know if that's a problem or not. It doesn't seem like it would be, but who knows. Anyway, this is not very well designed, but it's there and they're working on it. That's the point of all this. If I go to the last day, yesterday, all right, so three plus battles. Go to yesterday and do that, and then what happened? I'm still 5. How'd that work? Why did it not do it? Yesterday, okay, yeah. Select rating, there we go. All right, so I'm number 1 yesterday with 3 battles. All right, 6,248 actually, WTR. Somewhere around 5,000 is good. Anything above 5,000 is very good. There you go. So they're going to start working on that. I thought that was something that was kind of interesting to throw out there. You can really dig around. It does have a lot of sorting capability, but it is a bit wonky at times. See if we go back to vehicle ratings. I don't know. Oh, what's going on here? How's that happening? Oh, yesterday. Maybe I just played only that yesterday. Select rating. There we go. So I need 9 more battles for the JP. Remember I did summer camp, so I didn't do too great on that. 4,300 and the top is in the 5,000s. So 4,300 has me down here somewhere. Well, actually, I'm not on this. That's a good thing to look at. That goofed me up a little bit. Remember, it has to be 30 battles. So since I didn't have enough battles, I'm not even going to show up on this list right here. There's my current capability on it, though, or what my current numbers are. So you can look at it and go, well, at 4,334, I would be 4,334. I would be 16th. I'd knock him out. Okay, but I'd have to maintain that in the next 9 battles or whatever it took me to get there. All right, that is WTR and a little bit of my Hawk 12 subject du jour. Let's move on. All right, we got a new map. Actually, it's a new old map. So Kharkov is coming back. There is I was going to say a story. There's a posting on the main page here. Updated Kharkov. It'll give you a fly through. We're not going to go through that, but that's what it looks like right there. Pretty similar to what it was. They really minimized this big circle over here, and I kind of like that. They were going to make this a real central feature with a big hole that you dove down into. It was so obviously terrible just by looking at it. I'm glad they got rid of that idea because it was just an awful idea. I think the biggest change is they've really opened up the field area over on the left side. So that's most of the map, to be quite honest. And then there's some city brawling stuff over here that you can move through. So this should be interesting. New map, so that's good. I believe in 1.5.1. The other news is there's a new frontline map, and I'm not going to go dig through it. There's actually a post on that as well. Pretty cool. I don't know when that's going to come. Will it come before we finish this next iteration? Will it be in... I doubt it's going to be in June's, because it's super test. I doubt it will be in June's frontline episode, but will it be in July's frontline episode? I don't know. There's no SA. They may have mentioned it in the video. I didn't watch the whole thing. So if anybody has any SA on that, go ahead and drop it down below, and we can get people's hopes up for a map that may not show up for a while. All right, let's have some controversy. This will be fun. All right, so we had a really interesting thing happen at the beginning of the week with Skill 42U. All right, so let me just go up front with this. I'm going to talk about this mostly as the industry behind the industry and just the game industry as a whole, and talk about World of Tanks and conspiracies, capability for game breaking bugs or hacks or whatever. So that's the general gist of what we're talking about. The reason Skill 42 is brought up is because he started this thing with this video right here when he was seeing some problems. So this is a great player, all right? He's got great content. He's huge. He's got 5,000 views on this video. He doesn't usually get that many, but this one was a bit of a conspiracy slash controversy, so he got a lot more views. But, I mean, huge content contributor for EU. He's a CC for EU. He's amazing at the game. This is not a poke in Skill's eye in any way, shape, or form, but we're just going to talk about it because I think it's really fascinating. So this video was actually titled something else to begin with. Right now it's called Biggest Game-Breaking Bug in Tanks, which was caused by MOE mod. It used to say, or Wargaming is cheating, question mark or something like that. So I'm going to not make you watch the video. I'm going to give you the distilled version. But basically what happened is people were coming to Skill and saying, hey, when I play against you, I'm getting lag. And of course, there's the conspiracy theory, right? And we've heard that before. Clans get special lag making capability, and the top players make people lag out, and they have hacks, and Wargaming does it because they want them to be good and showcase their game and then make you want to play. I mean, it just goes into all kinds of hysterics. I mean, it really does. But in this case, they kept coming to him, and he was starting to hear it from players that he knew and respected, and it got to the point where he said, you know what, this is weird, something's going on here, I think. Let's test it. So I did this video, and he tested it. The testing was not very rigorous. There were problems with it, which we'll get into in just a minute, but the gist of it was they got into a training room, they put guys on his team, guys on the other team, and the guys on the other team were seeing some lag, and they were showing a couple recordings where it looked like he'd say fire, and then the guys on the other team would fire anywhere from a second to 2 seconds late, and they would be boom, 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 that kind of thing, right? So it looked like there was something going on. And the most obvious answer is, well, it's some kind of lag in the system. I don't know where that guy was. Maybe he has really bad ping, the one who's always behind. Maybe he doesn't understand it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you shoot when you just start to say one, or do you shoot after the one, or is it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 shoot? There's a lot of questions being begged there. Those are just a couple examples. But it got posted, and with the title, right? So the title is inflammatory. Game breaking bug. It certainly seems to be something like that, or wargaming's cheating, right? And some of his verbiage is, I don't want wargaming cheating for me because I'm good enough and I don't need it. Yes, that's absolutely true. But that whole piece of it, not the bug piece, not the, hey, something weird's going on, I think we probably need to look at this. I'm a big streamer. I'm seeing some stuff. People are seeing some stuff. I just did this test, albeit it wasn't very scientific or well designed, but this seems to indicate something goofy going on. He has that platform, right? That's the industry behind the industry. Let's say I saw it and I made a video, I'd probably get laughed out of the room. Even at my level, which is near zero, but slightly above zero, right? As an NACC with a small following. But he had the platform, so he did it, and that's good because that's part of what he should do. Unfortunately, we got this wargaming cheating piece thrown on the end of it by Skill, which I'm still a little flabbergasted at. But it happened. You can see that it's been deleted and walked back. That's good, okay? But I'm talking about what it was then at the beginning of the week. And, and the conspiracy started coming out, man. And there were some great threads, both on EU, the English part of it, and I'm sure there probably were some on RU as well, and on NA, with people just losing their minds. Conspiracy confirmed. Wargaming is cheating. Skill has hacks. He's only good. He only has 400 MOE 3 marked tanks because Wargaming cheated. Oh, by the way, he's been 3 marking things since the very beginning. What was it, 2 years ago? It's ludicrous. It is. But his point was, if he's getting an advantage somehow, unfortunately he put this wargaming cheating thing on the end, which I still can't quite figure out why he went that far that quickly. But if he's getting some kind of advantage, whatever it is, he doesn't want it. Noted. That's good. Good on him. And he was extremely upfront with all the rest of it, which I thought was well done. So he does another video the second day and talks about, hey, I've contacted Wargaming. We're looking at it. I don't want this advantage if Wargaming. He still kind of doubled down a little bit on this advantage thing. This I'm getting an unfair advantage, and tying Wargaming to it just still, which again was disappointing in a second time. Well, here's what it was, and this is where to me it gets more interesting than that. Because in the third video, he apologized. All right, so let's just get that out of the way. He did exactly what I think he should have done. I don't think he should have got to the apologize piece if he had done it right to begin with, but he did it. So good, fantastic. Walked it back, all that stuff. Here's the reason why. Because what we found out was that there is a third-party mod, an MOE tracking kind of thing, where it takes about, I want to say, 5 of some of the very best players in the game, and it sort of racks and stacks you against them on your MOE tracking. And I don't have the mod, so I don't know exactly how it works or what it shows you. But what it was doing is it was out of date. So it was creating a feedback loop, or creating a, what do they call it? An infinite loop looking for some data. All right, that's the layman's term from a power user, not a coder. And that cost it some time, and it was in between you and clicking and some other things. Now, I am going with the assumption here that that's all true, that it was the mod doing it, and it was an accident. And that's where it gets interesting for me. Because now it begs a lot of questions. Okay, well, has it happened in the past? Does this mod do that every time it goes out of date? All right. Let me backtrack that just a little bit, because you may not be tracking what's happening. What had to have happened for you to have a problem against Skill, according to what we've been told? All right, I'm not telling you this is the God's honest truth. This is what we've been told, and that's a whole nother issue, because there's no official word on what's happening here. From what I understand is you had to have downloaded that third-party mod, that MOE tracking mod. I think you even had to have selected skill as the guy you were tracking, but I don't know that either. And then you had to be in a game with skill on the other team, and it was causing you problems. It didn't seem to cause you problems while he was on your team. And this is where I start to kind of do the logical think about it, and it's a bit of a disconnect. Because wouldn't it also be tracking if he's on your team as well? So there's so many questions begged in here. Now, if you hadn't downloaded the mod, it's doing nothing to you. There's no extra software on top of your UI or on top of your World of Tanks game, and you do not noticed anything against skill. He wasn't able to hack into your client. You know who was able to hack into your client? The mod guy that you downloaded the mod from. Okay, so this. Let me go off on a tangent. That's the word I couldn't remember the other day. See, that's how old I am. I think that 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago was the other day when we start. Remember on Wednesday when we started this coffee talk? Okay, I'm starting to talk fast because I have enough coffee into me. All right. Mods can carry malicious code. This may be news to you. They are from I don't know where and I don't know who. Just because Wargaming says they're fine doesn't mean there's not something in there they don't know about. All right? This is why I stopped using mods. Do you know that there was actually mining programs for Bitcoin found in some mods using your computer to grind out Bitcoin? This is why I don't use them. My recommendation to everyone out there that listens to me is to not use mods for that very reason, because you just don't know. If you're fine with it, if you're technically competent, you know you can scan them, you know what you're looking for, go for it. Have a ball. If you're a power user like me or less, and you're not sure, I would be very, very, very careful about putting mods for a game on your computer. All right, so that's that tangent. Which brings me now to the whole guess who's hacking potentially your game is the guy who put the mods on. So this has shown a capability. All right, I understand capability and possibility. When you show a capability in software or a program or a process, it opens up the door for other things once you understand that this is possible. What's possible, apparently, even if it was inadvertent, is that you can download a mod from somebody and then someone on the other team can get an advantage from it of some kind, even if it's kind of nebulous, even if it's just a slight delay in firing. My question is, what other parameters, now that I know I can get that mod onto your computer by saying, hey, I have this cool UI mod. Now that I know a lot of people like that mod, now I can start putting other stuff, Bitcoin mining, stuff that messes with your UI, stuff that gives specific people a bonus, right? This was a specific guy. I'm not saying skill had anything to do with it, but his name was in there, and it was giving him a kind of advantage. Now, was it a direct advantage? Not necessarily. It was causing some delays and problems with them clicking and shooting and other things like that. Again, that's what we know. Not that we've really been told exactly what it was doing and how it was doing, but it did show a capability, didn't it? That I can get some stuff into mods, I can get people to download them voluntarily, I can overlay that capability over top their UI, and now I'm off to the races. I really am. That's how you get hacked. That's how malicious code comes in, from other code that you say, yep, download onto my computer. And there's no reason why you couldn't do things. Overlay it or hide it in your mods. Now, my assumption is Wargaming is fairly sophisticated. They've made this game. They know a lot about it. That they're able to look at a lot of these mods and figure out if they have some of this malicious code. But I don't know. People are ahead of the search programs all the time. Why would you go through that much effort to get a slight advantage for one guy? There's a lot of questions there, right? So this could be a mountain out of a molehill. But again, I'm going back to capability, because the conspiracy theorists are saying it's rampant and it's everywhere and everyone's cheating. Not everyone, but lots of people, especially the good players, yada yada, wargaming, yada yada. Now, in the case of wargaming, clearly they can write whatever malicious stuff they want into their game, but they're a massive international company, so getting caught putting malicious stuff in a game is probably going to be the end of your company. So I'm assuming that's a very, very, very low probability kind of thing. But third party people may have other reasons for doing it. Is the reason to help one guy named Skill42U to get a little bit of a delay when you fight against him? Probably not. I don't know. But the capability is there. The capability is there. And then it becomes, well, how hard is it, you know? Maybe I just want everyone who plays against me, if they've downloaded my mod and they see me on the other side, they get a slight delay and I get a slight advantage. Does that translate into being a better player? I don't know. But the only thing that the conspiracy theorists need is about 1 to 10% truth. Once they get their 1 to 10% truth, then they can extrapolate to the moon from there. And that's what's kind of happening now, because every time you get a conspiracy theory now, from now on, about someone's hacking or cheating, they're going to reach back and they're going to talk about this episode right here. So anyway, that's why I think it's kind of interesting. It shows capability. It's not doing us any favors from the conspiracy side, because there's a 1 to 10% truth. I mean, something can happen via a mod that you've downloaded onto your computer. Whether that's a lot of capability or really none and not inconsequential, I don't know. There's no official word on what it is and how it works and the rest of it. So, I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. I thought it was fascinating. And, of course, the conspiracy guys went crazy. Now, I would have told you right when this came out, and I actually went onto the forums and said so. I said, look, there's about 20 things that are more likely than somebody with a hack, to include a lot of lag problems, things like that. And that's not exactly what it was. You know, one of the things I included is the system is from the guy talking into the mic, those words coming out through all the software, hardware, everything else, getting to your ear, through processing through your nugget, clicking on your mouse, and then back to the server the other way with all the software, hardware, and processes required to do that. That's going to create some kind of latency and lag, both physically, mentally for you, and the system, all of it put together. Well, it turns out it was some software that was causing a problem, right? It was that mod overlaid over top of everything that was causing a delay in the click being sent to the server. So on the one hand, sort of right. On the other hand, not really. All right. Man, that's enough of that. Let's move on. All right, forum post of the week is win rate is not a reflection of player skill. I think this is a good one. There's 17 pages. If you want a good idea of the knowledge and conceptual base out there, go through this, because you're going to see some really thick-headed people who just don't get it. They really don't. Or they only understand part of it, and that's what they key on. You're also going to see a lot of people argue pretty eloquently exactly why your skill does matter. But I thought this one really summed it up. It's right at the end. And the guy says, your win rate depends on your teams. There is no way to show your personal win rate, even if you are the best player, as it is a team that wins, not you. Team loses, you lose. Team wins, you win. The win rate is a load of crap. Well, I mean, that's patently garbage. But why? I'm just fascinated by people who think this way. Now, team loses, you lose. Team wins, you win. That's a fact. If you're on a team and they lose, you lose. If you're on a team and they win, you win. That's hard to argue. You may get a win in other ways, i.e. I was looking for a specific damage, I wanted a specific award, I wanted to do a mission. There's lots of ways, but that's the nuance of it. Your win rate depends on your teams. Well, my answer to him was, you are correct for your skill and game ability, you are incorrect for mine. He's about a 49% player. So if you're at 49%, to a large extent, you are more reliant on the team. But if you're a better player, like me, then you're a little bit less reliant on the team. Now, granted, it's 15v15, so my ability to affect the game constantly is not amazing, right? But it's better than a 49% player, given enough data. In 10 battles, probably doesn't matter. In 100 battles, probably doesn't matter. In 1,000 battles, it starts to matter. In the 70,000 or whatever it is I have now, it's a pretty good indication of my skill at the game. Because it's a lot like, the corollary analogy of professional teams is important. It's not perfect, but the idea that a great quarterback who has a career 60% win rate, the idea that doesn't matter and it was only his teams is patently ridiculous, right? He's got individual performance measurements that are well above any other quarterback. And he has a 60% overall lifetime win. Does that mean he personally won 60% of the games? No, but he played well enough. His skill was important enough that he helped his teams. And when he was on them, they ended up with a 60% win rate. And these were all going to be different teams. It wasn't always going to be the same personnel along the way. The constant was that quarterback who was that good and was able to raise his team's ability up to the fact that he got 60% win rate. Now, there's a lot of other arguments that go in there. When you start talking about, well, is he the best quarterback in the world, yada, yada, that's the same thing in World of Tanks where you go, is he the best player in the world? He's got a 65% win rate. Well, I don't know. Let's dig into the details. Did he do it at Tier 5 or Tier 10? Did he do it in 500 battles or 50,000 battles? Does he platoon all the time? Does he not platoon all the time? These are all valid questions, and they're important into the calculation, and it does make it difficult to go, well, he's the best player of all time, much like the arguments about who the best quarterback of all time is, that kind of thing, or the best soccer player, or whatever it is. But what's not a mystery is which 10 guys are probably in the running, right? You can look at the stats and go, yeah, I don't. It's a interesting discussion on who the very best quarterback in the world is, but these 10 guys are probably the ones who are in the running. And then we can get in there and argue about which win rate mattered and which win rate didn't matter. But never are we going to argue that it didn't matter, it was only their teams, because that's patently stupid. It's patently ridiculous. So I thought this was an interesting discussion, so check it out if you want to see that. Savo goes through a pretty good explanation right here, breaks it down at the end, but it's the same thing's been said 10 times or more to the same players who want to come in and say, your performance doesn't matter, it's all the team. That's asinine. And that is that. Forum post of the week. Let's wrap this thing up. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for Coffee Talk today. Remember the invite code Guido Grind. Showed you how to submit if you want to send me a replay. I have a bunch stacked up, working on them today as we go. Missions and specials. Remember to put in your bloody codes. That's bloody codes. Tier 10 discount coming up. Tiger 2 details. Work on that World of Tanks rating, fellas. Try to beat me in the Hawk 12. Somebody beat me in the Hawk 12. Show me what you got. It's the greatest tank ever. Car Cub's coming back. A long discussion about game-breaking bug or wargaming cheating. Again, absolutely not a call out to skill. I don't want the skill nation to come down and crush me. I just thought it was an interesting series of events right there. And then the forum post of the week, so we all know that your skill does not matter. It doesn't. I'm going to finish my coffee. Very nice. It's rainy here in Florida. Hopefully get a little play. I might actually stream a little bit later today. Hopefully that'll happen. We'll see. Later, guys.